All right, so just to finish up on the Hot Rod Deluxe, I hope you've enjoyed the discussion on it, because there is a lot of it, a lot of great things about this amp. Number one, it's a great live amp, even though I've never played this one live and I've had it for 19 years. I know, shame on me, but I have played through them on stage, and I've heard, I heard Pearl Jam playing one of these. Eddie Vedder was playing a Telecaster through one of these. And they had just a mic in front of it, and he was playing a stadium with one of these things, and it sounded wonderful. You know what I mean? Um, Fantastic sounding amp for what it is. It's limited for the metal guys. Yes, I'm going to explore to see if I can make this thing metal, which would be very cool if I could. But I understand the limitations of this amp. It's a loose sounding amp, but it's meant to be loose sounding. It's meant to be lively. It's meant to feedback. It's meant to give you crazy, crazy. Like when you hook an SG61 reissue through this thing, it's crazy horse all the way. It's absolutely magnificent. It screams, it howls, it barks, it yells at you, it tears the paint off the walls, it trashes the room. Cuts in front of little old ladies at the grocery store. That's this amp. It is a great, great rock and roll, hard rock, light metal amp. Like classic metal. Think like Black Sabbath. You play War Pigs through this, it sounds awesome. Um, and for you blues guys and country guys, need not want. If you are a Telecaster guy, this is the amp you want. If you're mainly playing clean and you're a Telecaster guy, this is the amp you want. Strat guy, same thing, but Telecaster, I picture two guitars for this amp uh, as dominant, and that's SG61 reissued just because that's my favorite guitar ever, and the some sort of Telecaster. I just this is the guitar, this is the amp for it. It's just so optimized for those guitars. Uh, you don't have to mic the thing. Like you have to play a pretty big area before you don't have to mic the thing. Before you have to mic the thing, it is meant for live playing. The clean tones on this can be absolutely angelic. If you are an effects guy, a lot of people like this amp because it does handle effects okay. Now, I've never really played around with the effects loops on this amp, but one cool thing about the effects loop on this amp is you can basically use the what do you call it, the output, put it to another Hot Rod Deluxe, and control two Hot Rod Deluxes with one foot switch. Yeah, literally, you plug your foot switch into one, and it will literally change the two. So you can set one up for a lead and you can set one up for clean, or you could just buy yourself a twin reverb. Don't be fooled by the 40 watts output thinking it's not loud enough. This thing is beyond. Like I say, you can get a Marshall stack, pick a Marshall, any Marshall, crank it full, put everything full, put this thing full with the mid gain or the mid up. It might not necessarily be louder, but it will cut through. It will cut through a Marshall stack at full volume. It just does it. I've seen it. It's like I say, it's the ultimate mid-range amp. That's what gives it that aggressive sound when you're playing. The gain, some people like the gain. I don't slag the gain in this because I do like it for what it is. It's like a really smooth but yet extremely angry sounding overdrive. So it's not really harsh sounding like an overdrive, but it's just it barks at you, and it's great. And then when you hit the sizzle stage, you get that sizzly, like Guns N' Roses kind of Slash kind of sound out of this thing. Believe it or not, even though he's using Marshall, but you can get that kind of gain stage out of it. So you're not going to get like super distortion out of this, but you will get it has an ample amount of gain. It has an ample amount of gain. I'll just say that. It looks great. Like I just love, how it looks. Now, just looking at the table that it's on, if I'm playing live and I have to adjust this, I don't have to go here. I can just right here. A lot of times I just put like a little light thing that hooks onto that, and then that way you can see the board. This light, when it does work, lights up, it'll light up the room almost, and you got your indicator here, so it'll usually, the chicken head knobs look great, and they're easy to use because you just, you don't have to grab it, you just, just with your finger like that, right? And Better turn those down, because if I forget and turn the amp on and everything's on 12, the fact that it goes to 12, there's another great thing about it. Why? Because Spinal Tap, they only go to 11. Wussies. What are they, afraid? But yeah, you got two inputs. I got to experiment with my high output pickups guitars in the number 2 input, because it's 6 dB less. And the problem with high output pickups, like I said before, is it's because the amp is already overkill and in your face. They sound really harsh. So to knock off a couple of dB on the input won't make much difference on the output volume, but it might make it smoother. And we'll see if I can get a even more glorious tone with the 7-string coming through this sucker. Because again, if you can take advantage of the low end on this, it would be awesome for a 7-string, and the 8-string, of course. I got both. So yeah, so other things at the time when I bought this, okay, do it for time here. Oh yeah, I got lots. Okay, so at the time when I bought this, it was $1,160, I think, tax and all Canadian. Now the same amp goes for about $1,500, which, okay, at that money you can get a lot more for the money. But if you're looking for this kind of an amp, it's a great amp to go for. The main thing that's great about these amps is any trouble you've ever had with them, somebody's dealt with it 100 million times before, and there's probably 45 videos just on that one thing that you've dealt with, that you're dealing with. So lots of parts available, so to speak. I mean, you got to deal with an amp tech. Lots of knowledge on these amps. So anything if you're thinking of hot rodding, if you want to change a speaker in it but you don't even know where to start, there's a plethora of information on these amps. Yeah, so there's a lot of great things about these amps, and they're just a lot of fun. Yeah, and they're really not that big. Like like it's heavy, but it's not that big. So, you can fit it in the back of your car or whatever. You can put it behind the seat and, put it on the floor behind the seat, whatever, when you're traveling around with it. It's a pretty good, and you can get like an actual, it's just a cabinet. So it's basically, this looks exactly like this, but it's just a cabinet. You can get a cabinet for it if you want to match it up and just get it, more speakers or whatever. You can run 2 speakers, like you have 2 speaker outlets on this, so you can run this speaker and a 4x12 cab like that, no problem, many times. And trust me, this thing sounds amazing when I run it through the cab with that speaker. It's just glorious. So I'm sure there's other great things I could tell you about the amp. But yeah, I've had this for 19 years now. And yeah, I mean, there's still lots of life left in this amp. It probably does need a servicing. I wouldn't doubt about that. And I haven't played it in a little while, because I've been mostly playing my other setup that I got right there, which is more modern sounding. But yeah, there you go. So great amp. Could go on forever about it. If you get a chance to at least try one, I can guarantee you, if you've never actually heard one of these things, like sitting right in front of it, you're not going to be ready for what it does to you. Like the first time you play through it is going to kind of blow your mind a bit about just how aggressive this thing is. It's clean or dirty. It's there. It sounds so real. It's there. Like, there's no artificiality about this amp whatsoever. It is in your face, clean or dirty. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, that's the Fender Hot Rod Deluxe. So hope you enjoyed the series, the talk. I do look forward to making you some sound samples of this. Again, I'm only using a GoPro, so you got to deal with the GoPro mics. You're not going to get like a really melodious sound with GoPro mics, but to give you an idea. And I'm going to see if I can run some heavier distortions through it to see what it actually does. I'm almost kind of terrified, but we'll see.